Episode 56 DU April 29, 2023. April 29, 2023. The Drax's own advisors told Drax to stop calling wood burning carbon neutral issue. Residents against wood smoke emission particulates, see rawscpresidents.wordpress.com and scroll down for PDFs of articles with URLs to search on. And on the website are links to 10-minute TikTok and YouTube videos and 30-minute podcasts on Spotify, Podbean, podcasts.google.com, Amazon Music Prime, free for Prime subscribers, Castbox, and Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast is only free on the phone app. United States. Ohio, Cortland. Cortland firewood business takes off with help from growing YouTube channel, WFMJ.com. WFMJ.com. Ohio Wood Burner is an exclusive firewood delivery service with a full range of premium services and products for wood burning. Cortland firewood business takes off with help from growing YouTube channel. Ohio Wood Burner is an exclusive firewood delivery service with a full range of premium services and products for wood burning. April 27, 2023. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity. One Trumbull County man with state-of-the-art equipment and popularity on YouTube, with dozens of eateries, businesses, and individuals relying on him. A Cortland, Ohio native is behind Ohio Wood Burner. In recent years, he has a booming business in the Valley and growing traction on YouTube with over 15 million views from over 50 countries. The YouTube thing was an accident. This was never part of the plan. Ohio Wood Burner is a firewood delivery service with services and products for wood burning. What started as just a side hustle while taking care of his ill father is now his full-time focus. He once worked in loss prevention, audit, compliance, and risk management. It was 22 years of being a corporate hack, he said. When his father passed away, he decided to focus on the firewood business full-time. Most of his sales are to restaurants. Ohio Wood Burner is the firewood provider to dozens of restaurants throughout the Valley, including Firebirds, Cafe 422, and Mission Barbecue. We are the Mahoning Valley's only full-time firewood service, he said. A lot of people sell firewood. I am a full-time firewood business. Massachusetts, Northampton, Daily Hampton Gazette, South Hadley. John Howard, burning wood is not good. Daily Hampshire Gazette. Daily Hampshire Gazette. Wood is good. I've been a carpenter most of my life and it is a great media. It is not good for burning. The letter writer makes the point. John Howard, burning wood is not good. April 28, 2023. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity. I would like to respond to the letter "Wood is good" in the Gazette's April 8 edition. Wood is good. I've been a carpenter most of my life and it is a great media. It is not good for burning. The letter writer makes the point that it has emissions equal to a conventional boiler that it is to replace. Replacing bad with bad is a bad idea. Even if the wood being used are the byproduct of normal tree cutting. That puts the tree's embedded carbon in the air very quickly. If a tree falls and is left to rot, this would be a slow process taking years. Right now, we need to slow down anything that adds carbon to our air. Pellets are worse and often involve intentionally cutting down trees. One can't plant new trees to make our way out of the climate disaster. We need large trees right now. If you plant new ones, they will be large trees in 40 to 50 years. That's good, but it is too late. Trees we have are an important part of carbon removal. The letter writer seems to think that burning wood is okay because other elementary schools are burning wood. One of the things they teach in elementary schools is that just because Jimmy is doing a bad thing, it's not okay for Peter to do a bad thing. Poisoning the air, particularly around children, is a terrible idea. The Inflation Reduction Act will help pay for heat pumps or geothermal. It's bad enough that our children have to deal with the climate crisis, let's not poison them on the way to it. Canada, British Columbia. https://breathecleanair.ca/film-cost-of-wood-heating/? URL of a 9-minute film from 2019 by Breathe Clean Air, Comox Valley, British Columbia. First-person accounts interviews filmed. I really want to leave. I feel trapped in my home, with air purifiers. Canada, British Columbia, Lower Nicola. Carrie posted first-person accounts and photos in the last 3 weeks between April 28 and April 7, 2023. April 28, 2023. Just hung out my laundry in my backyard, got out my gardening tools and was ready to dig into the flower beds, when suddenly there came over our house a huge cloud of smoke. The smell almost knocked me over. I went to explore and saw my neighbor directly across the street from us burning something in her backyard. I got my iPad and went over to her place to get a photo and talk to her. I told her all those branches and yard waste could be recycled at our nearby landfill. And that I had just hung out my laundry and her smoke was covering our yard. She said, "Oh," and kept on gathering her waste. I went back home expecting she would respect me enough to stop burning. I could no longer be outside in the smoke and had to bring my clothes in and put them in the dryer. She just continued burning all afternoon. I could smell it inside our house and turned 2 air purifiers on full blast. I felt sick from just being close to the burn and smelling the smoke. I got a bad headache, burning eyes, and had to lie down for a couple hours. In the photo she is right inside all that smoke. I don't know how people can live like that and not become sick. They seem to enjoy it and have a fire pit/waste burning pit now planted in their backyard where they gather. They moved from the city and now think that being in our rural area means they can burn anything and smoke up our valley. This has to stop in our neighborhoods now. We have as much right to clean air in our yards as anybody else. There is a woman inside all that smoke. And she has no respect for anyone else living nearby her trash burns, including the school children at our nearby elementary school. Burning season has caused some of the worst air quality in the world. Health impacts are both acute and chronic. Vulnerable groups of people including low-income people as well as sensitive groups such as children, elderly, and patients with respiratory disease need protection such as safety zones and masks to avoid air pollution. Hospitals struggled to deal with the influx of patients and many were not able to secure treatment due to the crowding. There are no safe levels of air pollution and there are very few safety zones. People need just transition and pay equity to green energy jobs with nobody left behind. EPA still certifies wood stoves, which are producing tons of smoke in many neighborhoods. And this article does not include prescribed forestry burns, yard waste, debris burns, campfires, and fire pits, which also contribute to polluted air. But, at least they are starting to look at the impacts of smoke air pollution on babies, children, and other vulnerable groups. This study on wildfire smoke is Nuno's first collaboration with Schmidt. Their work will be funded by a $1.35 million grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency focused on environmental justice and climate-related health impacts on vulnerable populations and on life stages. Communities of color and low-income communities experience disproportionate air pollution, and the team expects the same will be true for wildfire exposure. Past research has linked air pollution to lower birth weights and preterm births, which can have a negative impact on health later in life. Don't use wood stove or fire pits around pregnant women or children. Carrie shared a video from the playlist of Dr. Charles Stanley. Dr. Charles Stanley last message before his death, prepare not to cry. R.I.P. Dr. Charles Stanley. I used to listen to In Touch Ministries on the radio when I was young. I've always learned something valuable from his preaching and found him to be a humble, gentle man of God. He was almost like a dad to many people seeking out help. False gods pop up in our life daily and need to be recognized as such. Keeping in line with the word requires daily prayer and meditation on the word, which I try to do first thing in the morning. Psalms 5 verse 3. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. Our world needs prayer and guidance from above, for our children's future is at stake. Adaptation to climate change. Heat, drought and catastrophic events like flooding and wildfires is not coming fast enough for many people living with extreme weather events. Keeping our cities cool enough to live in and providing safe housing for those in disaster zones is not yet high enough on our priority lists. There must be a reduction in all emissions and an increase in safety nets for those affected. Over 15,000 people died last year in Europe's heat wave, and over 700 died in BC's 2021 heat dome that kept temperatures up to or above 40 C for over 5 months across the western Pacific regions. Happy Earth Day! Having our cake and eating it too by ignoring the ramifications of climate change will place our children's future in peril. And I can't ignore that by doing nothing to help make a difference for the better wherever I live. Sacrificing our reputation by speaking out is the least we can do. Celebrating Earth Day with fresh cinnamon buns. Nothing like the smell of baking on a gloomy day to lift the spirit. Unnecessary burning of yard waste, wood stoves, and debris burning is putting our children and seniors at risk of proven health damages. With our hospital ER having been closed 11 times since December 22, it is imperative that we have clean air to breathe in our rural communities and cities. Clean air equates to healthy living and ecosystems preservation. On April 7, 2023, Carrie noted another Facebook poster posted the poem God Said. There was a moment when Moses had the nerve to ask God what his name is. God was gracious enough to answer, and the name he gave is recorded in the original Hebrew as YHWH. Over time we've arbitrarily added an A and an E in there to get Yahweh, presumably because we have a preference for vowels. But scholars and rabbis have noted that the letters YHWH represent breathing sounds, or aspirated consonants. When pronounced without intervening vowels, it actually sounds like breathing. YH, inhale, WH, exhale. So a baby's first cry, his first breath, speaks the name of God. A deep sigh calls his name, or a groan or gasp that is too heavy for mere words. Even an atheist would speak his name, unaware that their very breath is giving constant acknowledgement to God. Likewise, a person leaves this earth with their last breath, when God's name is no longer filling their lungs. So when I can't utter anything else, is my cry calling out his name? Being alive means I speak his name constantly. So, is it heard the loudest when I'm the quietest? In sadness, we breathe heavy sighs. In joy, our lungs feel almost like they will burst. In fear we hold our breath and have to be told to breathe slowly to help us calm down. When we're about to do something hard, we take a deep breath to find our courage. When I think about it, breathing is giving him praise. Even in the hardest moments. This is so beautiful and fills me with emotion every time I grasp the thought. God chose to give himself a name that we can't help but speak every moment we're alive. All of us, always, everywhere. Waking, sleeping, breathing, with the name of God on our lips. On April 7, 2023, Carrie commented, "This is so beautiful. And the air we breathe echoes his name." Canada, British Columbia, Smithers. Pellet plants promises of cleaner air, go up in smoke, the Tyee. The Tyee. Recent evidence suggests that ambient PM 2.5 air pollution has an important mortality burden, even in regions with relatively low PM 2.5. Pellet plants promises of cleaner air, go up in smoke. Smithers area residents want tougher rules for the UK-owned operation to protect air quality. Ben Parfitt. Ben Parfitt is Resource Policy Analyst for the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives BC office. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity. Thousands of logs are waiting to be turned into pellets in Smithers. Photo from Stan.Earth. Every year, the air in the Bulkley Valley community of Smithers becomes hazardous to human health as thousands of fires known as slash burns are deliberately set at logging sites. The contaminated air can stay trapped in the valley's air shed for extended periods as the slash piles smolder, resulting in local residents breathing in fine particulate matter that can damage hearts and lungs. So, when a company proposed to build a wood pellet mill in town and claimed the mill would help reduce all that smoke, local residents paid attention. Northern Engineered Wood Products, or NewPro, claimed that if it got the green light to build a pellet mill on the site of a particleboard plant it had previously operated in town, the result would be an immediate and consequential drop in slash burning operations, which are used to clear branches, stumps, and other waste from logging sites. Instead of the branches and shattered portions of tree trunks left behind at logging operations being burned, the company told the public, the local town council, the provincial government and others that the material would be trucked to town to make pellets. But what was promised and what was delivered are two very different things. A resident of the area said, "We want the Environmental Management Act amended so that it is clear that permits will be cancelled outright if companies make misleading claims in support of their applications." United Kingdom. UK, County Durham. County Durham man behind bars after operating toxic illegal waste site. Yahoo News UK. Yahoo News UK. A County Durham man has been put behind bars after repeatedly burning waste, plastic guttering, wood, a trolley and a fridge, as investigators. UK, Selby, Drax wood burning plant. https://news.sky.com/story/power-giant-drax-told-by-own-advisors-to-stop-calling-biomass-carbon-neutral-1286603 ? Sky News. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity. Power giant Drax told by own advisors to stop calling biomass carbon neutral. Drax burns woody biomass pellets shipped from overseas to create electricity in the UK on the basis it could be greener than burning coal, qualifying it for government subsidies. But its scientists have raised questions about whether the impact of biomass really is neutral. April 26, 2023. The UK's largest bioenergy supplier has been told by its own scientific advisors to stop calling biomass carbon neutral, raising difficult questions about the future of the controversial energy form when its subsidies expire in 2027. Drax began burning woody biomass pellets instead of coal to produce electricity 10 years ago, on the basis that doing so effectively neutralizes the planet heating carbon emissions, because new trees are planted to absorb those gases. This science is disputed, but the UK government classes bioenergy as renewable. This qualifies Drax for subsidies of around £1.7 million a day for providing about 6% of the country's electricity. Drax has now been told by its independent advisory board to reassess its criteria for determining carbon neutrality, according to a summary of meetings and correspondence last year. Drax should move away from saying carbon stocks are increasing/stable and stating biomass is carbon neutral, added the board, chaired by former government chief scientific advisor Professor Sir John Beddington. It comes as Drax meets for its annual general meeting, AGM, today April 26, 2023, in order to offer negative emissions. https://www.nrdc.org/bio/le-pepper/drax's-smokestacks-tell-truth-about biomass. On Drax's AGM, its smokestacks tell the truth about biomass. April 27, 2022. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity. Rozep view. This article does not mention the particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, PM2.5, emitted by wood burning. PM2.5 is the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Wood smoke is 90% PM2.5. PM2.5 also contributes to climate change. Today, Drax will hold its annual general meeting, AGM, where it will tell its shareholders and the world how great it's doing and claim that our planet's future depends on industrial biomass energy. Fortunately, at least in the UK, Drax is becoming an increasingly rare and isolated voice in support of bioenergy. The UK government, politicians, and ministers alike have begun to express serious concerns about the impacts of biomass energy on the climate and biodiversity, along with the fact that the technology Drax needs to scale up, bioenergy with carbon capture and storage or BCCS, doesn't exist and may not work. Even the IPCC is growing wary of bioenergy, citing, among other things, concerns about land available for food production if we expand planting of bioenergy crops to burn. Here are 10 facts about Drax that paint a very different picture from the one its shareholders are hearing today. Number 1. Drax is the UK's top source of CO2 pollution. Number 2. Drax is one of Europe's top 5 emitters of PM10 air pollution. Number 3. In 2020, Drax imported over 7 million metric tons of wood pellets to burn at its power plant. Over half were made from whole trees. Scientists warn that burning forest biomass, such as what is burned at Drax, does not mitigate climate change and may increase the risk of dangerous climate change. Number 4. Wood entering Drax's supply chain routinely comes from clear-cuts of old and biodiverse forests. Number 5. Less than 1% of the biomass burned at Drax comes from within the UK. Number 6. Drax's stock was recently downgraded by Citi, which noted that, "We do not fundamentally see biomass as a sustainable source of energy." Number 7. Drax currently faces criminal prosecution over health harms to its workers from wood dust at Drax Power Station. Number 8. Last year, Drax was fined $2.5 million over serious air quality breaches at its pellet mill in Gloucester, Mississippi. Number 9. Drax benefited from £5 billion in subsidies from 2012 to 2020 and is projected to receive a further £5 billion from 2020 to 2027. Drax's subsidies totaled £832 million in 2020, paid for by UK households via a fee on home energy bills. Number 10. Drax is lobbying the government to grant it large new subsidies to add carbon capture technology to its plant. Think tank Ember estimates this project will require £31.7 billion. Drax is trialling so-called BCCS technology, but has yet to capture any meaningful quantity of CO2 at its power station. In sum, as Drax continues to espouse the same old song and dance about biomass, for the rest of us the realities are becoming impossible to ignore. Drax burns trees for profit. Drax is the UK's biggest CO2 polluter. Drax harms wildlife and the climate, and vulnerable communities in the U.S. southeast. And yet, the UK government gives them billions a year. Ireland, Cork, University College, Cork, UCC. https://www.newstalk.com/news/ireland-quite-clearly-needs-to-ban-burning-of all-solid-fuels-UCC-expert-14595-29 Ireland quite clearly needs to ban burning of all solid fuels, UCC expert. April 26, 2023. Ireland should ban the burning of all solid fuels to reduce air pollution, according to a UCC chemistry professor. Every year, the government estimates around 1,300 people in Ireland die from air pollution. Doctors say poor air quality can lead to other serious health issues like cancer, asthma, and dementia, and a UCC professor emeritus said the government should ban the burning of solid fuels entirely. It should be equal to cigarette smoking and how we think about that, he told Newstalk Breakfast. Our attitudes to that, smoking, over the last 30, 40, 50 years, have changed, when it was thought to be a health improvement. Now, we're in an era where cigarette smoking, is shunned. Quite clearly people should say no to burning any solid fuel, and that includes wood, wet or dry, as well as coals, and all sorts. All solid fuels should be banned. Last year, the government banned the commercial sale of turf, a decision Minister Eamon Ryan justified on the grounds it would save lives, and the UCC professor said he hoped any new legislation would be radical. First and foremost, Ireland needs a Clean Air Act, like many other countries have, he said. We've got to replace this outdated Air Pollution Act and put the health and well-being of citizens front and center. Everything flows from that. That means the responsibility for air pollution should now be split between the Department of the Environment and the Department of Health, and all other government departments should be vigilant and meet their air pollution reduction targets. That means we have to strengthen and increase the powers of the Environmental Protection Agency. The Environmental Protection Agency describes air quality in Ireland as generally good, but that it does not meet World Health Organization guidelines issued in 2021. Europe. Air pollution is killing 1,200 children and teens in Europe each year, according to the EEA. One Green Planet. Short-term exposure to nitrogen dioxide and ozone, along with long-term exposure to fine particulate matter, PM2.5, can negatively affect lung